saying necessary action must be taken urgently to avert a looming disaster in the health sector. Professor Fatisi, a professor of public health and community medicine, beside medical experts, trained doctors in the country were involved in the exodus, sounded a note of warning that if it gets to the point that there are no trainers to train doctors, it may spell doom for the country. The medical expert spoke at Ekiti State University at Ekiti after a lecture titled "The Legacy of Dreams." The VC said that since the medical colleges and all institutions train doctors, nurses, medical laboratory scientists, and other workers who are no longer training for the local market, the regulatory bodies must improve the number of spaces they give to schools so that if some of the medical workers travel abroad, there will still be enough air. He also suggested a policy whereby every doctor and health worker that is trained with government's money should be banned for like 5 years before they are allowed to travel out of the country. The South African National Treasury has welcomed the recent passing of the two bills by the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces (NCOP), the General Laws Anti-Money Laundering and Combating Terrorism Financing Amendment Bill and the Protection of Constitutional Democracy Against Terrorist and Related Activities Amendment Bill were passed by the two houses recently. In a statement, the National Treasury said the passage of the bills demonstrates the government's commitment to fighting corruption and terror financing and represents a giant step towards South Africa complying with the 40 Financial Action Task Force recommendations. The Minister of Finance, Enoch Godwana, introduced the General Laws Amendment Bill in the National Assembly on the 29th of August this year. The Minister of Police, Becky Sele, introduced the POCDAT area bill in the National Assembly on the 19th of July this year. Both bills were passed by the NCOP last week and will be sent to the President for assent. When enacted into law, the two bills will improve South Africa's adherence to international best practices in combating financial crimes and corruption. A draft UN deal on biodiversity protection calls for increasing the international financial and from developed countries to developing countries to at least $20 billion per annum by 2025 and to at least $30 billion per annum by 2030. According to documents released, the aid will go to the least developed countries and small island developing states as well as countries with economies in transition. The draft deal was tabled by China, which is chairing the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the UN Convention on Biological Diversity. The deal includes 23 action-oriented targets for urgent action over the decade to 2030. COP15 is scheduled to conclude today with the adoption of a post-2020 global biodiversity framework. The draft text has been discussed over the last 2 days. This is the word at noon, coming to you from Osho State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, our mid-news message. Education is the only legacy parents can bequeath their world. Flying Navy ships and helicopters are searching for more than 2 dozen missing sailors after a warship sank in rough seas overnight in the Gulf of Thailand. Rescue efforts were underway to find survivors who have not been unaccounted for more than 12 hours after the vessel sank. According to the Thai Navy, as of midday, 75 sailors from the HTM Cuvette had been rescued and 31 were still in the water. The Navy added that the high waves which caused the accident had lessened since Sunday night sinking, but were still high enough to endanger small boats. A rescued crew member said he had to float in the sea for 3 hours before he was saved. At least no fewer than 18 people have been killed and 32 injured when a fuel tanker exploded in the Salem Tunnel in the north of Afghanistan's eastern Pawan province. The injured people were taken to hospitals in the provincial capital Chirika, and nearby health centers. The Solange tunnel is around 130 kilometers north of Kabul and a key link between the countries north and south. Also, 5 people were killed and another wounded in a shooting in the suburbs of the Canadian city of Toronto. Local police chief Jim Maswin told reporters that the suspect also died after an exchange of fire with law enforcement agents, saying the shooting took place in an apartment building. The injured person was taken to hospital and the lives are not safe and the lives are in danger. Police were investigating the motive and whether there was a connection between the victims and the male suspect, who was not been named. The suspect allegedly acted alone. And here again are the highlights of the world at noon. Chancellor of the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, Southwest Nigeria, Professor Adeshagun Fatisi, has demanded the failure of the government to address the factors compelling medical doctors and other health workers to leave the country, saying necessary action must be taken urgently to avert a looming disaster in the health sector. The South African National Treasury has welcomed the recent passing of 2 bills by the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. 5 people were killed and another wounded in a shooting in the suburbs of the Canadian city of Toronto. And that was the word at noon, edited by Temitope Olaiwola and delivered by Muturayo Ayemayo. The 18th of December is the World Arabic Language Day. Our news talk explores the origin of the language, its importance and aesthetics. It's written by Oluwato Yusuf of our editorial desk.
The United Nations adopted the 18th of December every year as the World Arabic Language Day after its acceptance on the 18th of December 1973 by the General Assembly of the United Nations as its 6th official language. In his book titled Ancient and Modern History of Medina, written in Arabic by Dr. Ahmad Yassin Al-Kayari, he noted that Arabic as a language was one of the 72 languages spoken by the 4th generation of Prophet Noah, amongst whom was Amalek, who is and now later believed to have founded Yathrib, later known as Medina. Amalek is believed to be the first speaker of Arabic language. Arabic, though widely believed and known as the language of the Quran, Muslims' holy book, is spoken by Coptic non-Muslims in Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Kuwait, and other Arabian countries. Allah makes it clear that He sent down the Quran and got it narrated to Prophet Muhammad by angel Jibril in Arabic, as stated in chapter 12, verse 2 of the Quran. This foremost importance of Arabic language underscored by the fact that the languages spoken by all past prophets before Muhammad have either gone into extinction or lost their relevance, but Arabic, the language of Quran, remains and shines. Second, Arabic, spoken by about 450 million people daily, is the world's 3rd biggest language after English and French. Third, Arabic is studied as a course in universities, having its own department away from the Department of Foreign Languages. It is equally tested in examinations conducted by the West African Examinations Council, National Examination Council, and Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, as it is taught as a subject in high schools. Arabic has become language of advertisement as various products all over the world have Arabic inscriptions on them. Linguistic aesthetics of Arabic language lies in its lexic structure, semantics, phonology, as employed in poetry, drama, prose, logic, and philosophy. Words such as alchemy, algebra, cube, magazine have their roots in Arabic. To show that Islam as a religion has been in Yoruba land for more than 700 years, many everyday Yoruba words were picked from Arabic language. Examples are sakan, sadaqta, al-baraka, Ghafar, Qadar, Dua, Sana, Al-Afiyah, Fakhar, Al-Amr, Aniyat, Khair, Fitna, Wadaha, Tiflun, Balaga, and many others. Arabic is the language of unification among its speakers and Muslims. It is the language of prayer. Muslims from countries where English, French, Portuguese, German, Spanish are spoken can exchange pleasantries with the popular greetings Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Graduates of Arabic studies can pick up jobs as lecturers and can work in foreign affairs ministries or embassies as interpreters. They can also work as sports commentators or work as interpreters in communication firms or stand on their own as school proprietors and authors. As Arabic Language Day is being celebrated, News Talk encourages parents, particularly Muslims, to ensure that their children learn the language shoulder to shoulder with other areas of study.
As the world continues to celebrate Arabic Language Day, Oluwatoyin Yusuf Ibrahim News Talk x-rayed the significance and beauty of the language regarded as a sound widely spoken in the world. For more about us, you can visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good afternoon.
The United Nations.
On Osho Radio. 104.5 FM.
Can be funny, look around you and tell me what you see. Yaki show me up there, Baba ma jenjeya. Up there, pade mi ni gubala ma finjeba. Pelu eja shower. I think about those days. I cannot imagine how Mama go with the whole day. She used to count a lot, but then no boy, no grandma. Had to move away, no grandma. Nice to Sunday. Gabon, Mali Pada, Joshua Park, Joshua. Every time I think about those days, when I feel it, I listen to the pace. Every time I remember how the street dictate. I was scared through the Monday. It was a very big man. I was feeling like this. I lost my very dear friend. I'm ready. Me and my mommy, she like mama from me. We don't want to eat like a story. No time, many palomo, we don't mind. We don't sign. Which one is right and we don't mind. No cry, no cry, no cry, no cry, no cry, no cry, no cry. Don't touch me the basic school, same as grammar school. I too like ready. Every time me man la let go. Okay, can't me man kill at a loss of the alright. Mommy, he might be little afar. Just wanna let you know I love you guys. Not taking the shame in no teacher suffer. Tere palo mamuni, januba, for my own. Timbati ni kata. If I can have a medicine, my life on the bar. These are my beginning. Iṣẹ́ tí ayé mi ìrìnlẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mi, ohun ojú mi rí, my beginning. Anytime the rain is falling, me and my mommy, she love my mommy. We don't sleep when you guys are sorry.
Ọ̀kan ṣoṣo àjàǹkú tí mo gbé kìjikìji 105.5